They'd probably put some big monster of a lad on him, but sure he was used to that. "Who've I got?" he shouted across at Paddy.
"Me,"
said a voice.
Benny looked down. It was the pixie. "That a problem for you, Townie?"
"No problem at all, Wuller. Just don't get your head in the way of me Hurley." The girl whistled softly.
"I wouldn't be making threats. He doesn't like it."
"Who's that? The Pixie King?"
"No, him."
She nodded at a cowpat. Benny followed her gaze. The cowpat was growling at him.
"That's Conger. He hates townies."
The little mongrel was about the size of a saucepan. "And how does the mutt identify townies? By the smell of soap?"
The dog aimed his snout at Benny and closed one eye.
The other was a milky blue haze. The Duncaders froze. "The eye. Conger's given the evil eye." The pixie crossed herself. "Ah, here," snorted Benny. "A devil dog. Get a grip, will yez?" He noticed a space widening around him. No one wanted to be too close when Conger made good on his voodoo promise. Benny wasn't convinced. "Never mind all this psyching me out. I've played in Croke Park." Paddy strolled over. "Here, babe. Keep a leash on the mutt until we start the game." Conger didn't bother giving Paddy the evil eye. He wasn't stupid. Two things struck Benny, and his mouth went into action before his brain had a chance to paste a government warning over it. "Until we start the game? You mean the dog's playing? And Babe? What sort of a name is Babe?"
"Better than George and Bernard Shaw," sneered the pixie.
Benny, for the millionth time, silently fumed over his mother's obsession with literature. Imagine being one half of a playwright's name. "Yeah, well," he said. Babe rolled her woolly hat back over a shock of curly hair. Victory was hers. Benny glowered at her. "You win this battle, Obi-Wan, but the war is far from over." The ball went in. Benny, naively assuming they were playing strategy, held his position. The rest of them bowled into the centre, diving into a writhing mass of limbs. Babe snapped her fingers at Conger. "Mark the townie boy. You know what to do." And she was off, disappearing up to her neck in culchy flesh. Conger gave a little yip, turning his bandy gaze on Benny. "What happened to your eye, Conger? Hurt yourself drinking out of a toilet, did you?" Conger tensed, baring nasty little incisors. The tangle of bodies on the pitch was like one of those cartoon frays. Benny half expected to see stars and the word POW appear in fluorescent colours above the dust. Incredibly, it was Babe who emerged with the ball, flailing all around with her hurley. Paddy fell, smitten under the chin. He had the glazed look of concussion in his eyes, but then Paddy had that look at the best of times. Benny narrowed his eyes. Time for God-given talent to make its mark. He mapped out the move in his head. Nip in, a little illegal trip for that smart-aleck Babe girl, then scoop up the free ball and fire it in for an easy point. Or goal, depending on how far it went over the piles of jumpers that were the makeshift goalposts. Simple for a young man of his ability. Stage 1 went according to plan, and he stuck out his foot. Except there was no girl, just a little lump of dog chewing on the toe of his runner. Babe had dummied him and was halfway to the other end of the field. Squealing, Benny tried to slap the dog off with his hurley, but only succeeded in bashing himself on the shins. Babe, meanwhile, had tapped the schlither into an open goal. Benny soon copped on to the trick of dealing with Conger. The minuscule dog applied pressure only if you moved. He was forced to stand stock still on one foot until Babe made her way back from the goal. By this time, a whole tribe of culchies was snickering. "Laugh it up, farmer boys," said Benny. "Soon as I get Muttley here off me foot, you better watch that goal." Babe sighed. "I suppose I might as well save poor Townie from the bad doggy." She snapped her fingers again. "Conger! Throw him back." Conger spat out Benny's foot as though it smelt worse than a barrel of old fish, which, in fairness... By this time, Paddy had hauled himself out of the muck. 1-0. That was your fault, Benny. Babe is your man. Right, face up for the puck out. It was no good. Benny's nerve was gone. It was bad enough being uncertain about whether to flatten a girl or not, but on top of that, there was the dog growling every time the schlither came anywhere near them. He barely won a ball. Full time. 6-goal advantage for the opposing culchies. Benny tried to slink off home unnoticed, but Babe was having none of that. "Hey, Townie, going home for a sob, are ye? Don't worry, you can play with the juniors next week." Of course, all the other culchies thought this was hilarious. Yeah, said Benny, painfully aware that this was a pitiful excuse for a smart comeback. Usually, Benny Shaw considered himself a bit of a wit, but this wall of chuckling farmers totally unnerved him. He needed professional help to deal with these people. Time to talk to Granda.